So if we have x squared y to the power 9 and everything to the power cube. If you remember, there is a rule that says if you have a times b inside parentheses with n. If you remember this rule, I don't know which number, it's rule number 'can you remember which number the rule for this one? You're going to distribute the exponents here and here. So it's going to be a to the exponent n times b to the exponent n. The same thing here. I'm going to use exactly the same rule. I'm going to distribute the exponents here and here. So this one is going to be equal. I'm going to write down the result here. Is going to be x squared to the power 3 times y to the power 9 to the power 3. Then there is another rule. You see, I'm using all the rule of exponents. There is another rule here. I'm going to write down here. If we have a number with two exponents, a number with two exponents, with n and m, is going to be, you're just going to multiply these exponents. So it's going to be a n times m. I'm going to do the same thing here and here. So I need to multiply these two exponents. So the result is going to be x, 2 times 3 is going to be 6, y, 9 times 3 is going to be 27. This is the final result for this questions. If we have this example, a cube over b to the power 4 and everything to the power 4. How are we going to solve this one? There is a rule that says a over b to the exponent n. You're going to distribute the exponents on the top and on the bottom. So it's going to be a to the exponent n over b to the exponent n. That means I can do the same thing here. I'm going to distribute the exponents for the top and the bottom. So the result here is going to be a, here's the cube, parentheses to the power 4 over b to the power 4, parentheses to the power 4. Now I'm going to use the same rule here on the top and the same rule here on the bottom. So this one is going to be, that means if I have a number with two exponents, I'm going to multiply these two exponents. The same thing here, I have a number with two exponents, I'm going to multiply these two exponents. So it's going to be a, 3 times 4 is going to be 12, over b, 4 times 4 is going to be 16. This is the final result. If we have -3 to the exponent -3. Let's change this so you're not gonna get confused. I'm gonna change this number, -4. So there is a rule that says if you have a number with negative exponent, always is going to be 1 over the number with positive exponent. I didn't say the number is supposed to be positive. Negative also is going to be exactly the same rule. So maybe the number here is negative, maybe the positive. I'm talking about this number here. So if we check with this example, we have negative number with negative exponents. I'm not going to care about everything here inside the parentheses. I'm just going to use exactly what the rule says. I'm going to say this is equal 1 over the number. It's exactly the same thing here between these two parentheses. So -4, I'm going to write down exactly the same thing. This is the number. I'm not going to change the sign for the number. I'm going to change the sign for the exponents. So it's going to be 1 over the number with positive exponents. That's me. I can simplify this one because -4, let's do it here. -4 cubed, it's mean -4 times -4 times -4. So negative times negative times negative, negative times negative is going to be positive. Positive times negative is going to be negative. 4 times 4 times 4 is going to be 64. So it's going to be 1 over -64. Let's do the same example. Yes, go ahead.
So if the number it's number with, it will be 1 over 1A9 if the number is with positive exponent.
With positive exponents, like I'm gonna do the same. Like if you say -4 cubed, right? Like this.
Yes.
Like this is different. You can't use this rule because it's positive exponents, right? So how are we gonna find this one? That's mean -4 multiplied by itself how many times?
3 times.
3 times. So you're just gonna, if you want to solve this one, it's going to be -4 times -4 times -4. Exactly what we did here.
But when it's, how do you say that when it's negative, it will be the 1 over the one?
Yeah,
on the
if it's
top?
negative exponents, if this one here, if it's negative exponents, so the result is going to be 1 over the same number here, but you're going to change only the exponents from negative to positive. Okay? Yes or no?
Yes.
That's the only thing. We're using the rule. You see the rule here? I'm using exactly the same rule. So the main thing here, if you have negative number here, you're not going to change the sign. You're just going to change the sign for the exponents from -3 to 3. That's the only thing you have to do. And then you're going to simplify -3 cubed. If you want to use the calculator, it's fine. Just open parentheses, -4 with the parentheses. Be careful. If there exist parentheses, when you type it in the calculator, write down the parentheses. So negative, put parentheses, -4, close the parentheses, the cubed is going to be the result -64. Okay? If there is no parentheses, you don't have to write down the parentheses. Type it exactly the same thing. What about if there is another example? If you finish from this one, let me know. So be careful with this kind of examples. If you have, I told you, if you have -4, let's do it -8. Cubed. If you want to use, again, if you want to use the calculator, do not forget the parentheses. And the meaning here for -8, it's the negative sign cubed and the 8 is cubed. So we're going to write down it's -8 times -8 times -8. That's mean -8 multiplied by itself 3 times. So negative times negative is going to be positive. Positive times negative is going to be negative. 8 times 8 times 8 is going to be 128. I'm not sure. One second, no, 500.
512?
512, yes. So it's going to be -512. -512, you see the result. What about if you have -8 squared? Go ahead, I need you to use the calculator. you see there is no parentheses here. How much is going to be the result? Let's do it a cube. Let's do it a cube.
The cube.
It's going to be negative 512. The cube here only for the 8, not for the negative sign like the previous example. So here is the negative sign. And 8 cubed is going to be 8 times 8 times 8. So the result also is going to be negative 512. Let's check if we have even root. Like for example, if you have negative 8 squared, and if you have negative 8 squared. I need to be careful with these. This is really important. Negative 8 cubed is going to be negative 512, even if you plug it in the calculator, plug in with the parentheses. If you have negative 8 cubed, plug in exactly the same thing here, you're going to get 512. And now you see the difference between these, but we got exactly the same result. What about if we have, this is odd root, odd exponents. Now, what about if we have even exponent? Let's check how it's going to be the result. For this one, that's mean negative 8 with the parentheses multiply by itself twice, 2 times. That's mean negative 8 times negative 8. So the result is going to be, check the result here.
Positive 60.
Yes, it's going to be positive 64.
Positive
So
64.
Perfect. Because negative times negative, positive, 8 times 8 is going to be 64. What about if we have this one, negative 8 squared? Check the squared only for the 8. That means I have to write down the negative sign, because negative sign is not squared. And 8 squared, that means 8 times 8. So the result is going to be negative 64. You see the difference?
So we're going to pass the sign to the other side? Because
yes, because the negative sign is not squared.
Because negative plus negative, it will be positive, right?
No, not the plus, times. Negative times negative is going to be positive. Positive times positive also is going to be positive. So when you multiply the same sign, it's going to be what?
And why, when we multiply in negative 8 squared, it come up negative? If it was
which one?
The last one.
The last one?
Negative 8 squared. If it's negative times negative.
No, because this example, the squared only for the 8, not for the negative sign. That's why I'm going to write down the negative sign. And you see the 8? I squared the 8, 8 times 8. You see that?
Yes.
Because I squared only the 8. I'm not going to square the sign. Because the square only for the 8. You got it?
The square, it's when the sign is inside the parentheses.
Perfect. The square here, when the sign you see inside the parentheses. That's the difference. You got it?
Yes.
I need you to be careful with these 2 examples. It's really important. Let's do. And this one also 100%, you will get like this example when you do the homework, the online homework. I'm gonna solve it. Let's see if we have space. Yeah, this one's gonna be enough. If you have 4/7 for -4, how are we gonna solve this one? There is 2 methods to solve this example. I'm gonna give you the easiest one. Always do exactly the same thing. When you see a fraction with negative exponents, how I'm going to solve this one? I'm going to flip everything inside the parentheses. I'm going to say 7/4 and I'm gonna write down positive exponents. Okay, now this is easier. The other method is really long method. I need to give you the easiest one.
So how do we do that?
We're gonna flip everything inside the parentheses. You see 4/7 became 7/4.
Yes.
And change the exponents from -4 to +4. Now, next step, I'm going to distribute the 4 here. So it's going to be 7 to the power 4 over 4 to the power 4. Okay? Now, 7 to the power 4, how much is going to be? Someone tell me. It's going to be a big number.
2,401.
Over 4 to the power 4, how much is going to be?
256.
256. Yeah. Don't worry about if you got a really big number. Can you simplify it? No, that's it. Leave everything. This is the final result.
So we can do this always, like
always when you see a fraction with negative exponents. When you see a fraction with negative exponents, flip the fraction, then change the exponents from negative to positive. Distribute 7 to the power 4, 4 to the power 4, and just simplify the result. That's it. Always you're going to do that when you see a fraction with negative exponents. So with this kind of example, you're just going to multiply the numbers and add the exponents. So 8 plus 7 is going to be 15. That's it. This is the result. Let's do one more. If we have, I'm using the rule of exponents. If you have -2 x to the power 5 y and everything squared. If you remember the rule, it says when you distribute the exponents, we have one exponent, so we have to distribute the exponents on everything here inside the parentheses. So it's going to be -2 squared x to the power 5 squared y squared. Again, I'm going to ask you, if there is no number here, how much is going to be the exponent?
1.
1. So if there is no number, that means the exponent here is going to be 1. So now, -2 squared, that means -2 times -2. I'm done here. I have to multiply these two numbers. X, I'm going to multiply the exponents. 5 times 2 is going to be 10. Y, 1 times 2 is going to be 2. Now, the final result, negative times negative is going to be positive. 2 times 2 is going to be 4. And here is x to the power 10 y squared. This is the final result. Let's do this one. Let's do more examples. If you have, like this example, this is really important because there's many steps we have to do here. And use a lot of rules. 4x squared y to the power 4 over z squared and everything to the power 3. So the first thing, we're going to distribute the cubic on the top and then on the bottom. So it's going to be 4x squared y to the power 4 cube over z squared cube. Then on the top, you're going to distribute the cubic on everything inside the parentheses. So this one is going to be 4 cube x squared cube y to the power 4 cube and everything over z squared.
Yeah.
And here is going to be 4 cubed, that's been 4 times 4 times 4, 3 times is going to be 64. We're going to multiply 2 times 3 is going to be 6, so x to the power 6. Y 4 times 3 is going to be 12. Over, here is the z, 2 times 3 is going to be 6. This is the final result for this example.
There's a x squared cube. The 4 wasn't supposed to go with the x, like together, like 4x squared.
Because you know, because it's multiplication with all the terms. So when you distribute, you're gonna distribute with the 4, with the x and the y, okay? For everything inside. So it doesn't matter if you put the x, the 4 with the x or without the x. So put it outside the x, okay?
Okay.
Because it's multiplication. 4x, that's mean 4 times x. 4x, y, that's mean it's the same thing, 4 times x times y. Okay, so keep this one in your mind. It's a multiplication. That's why when you distribute, you have to distribute on everything inside the parentheses. The first one, how much the result for -7 to the exponent 0? Someone tell me.
Is it 1? No, wait. Yeah, is it 1?
It is 1, yes, you're right. Because the negative sign inside, okay? What about if we have -7 to the exponent 0? You see, the 0 only for the 7, not for the negative sign. With the previous example, the 0 for the 7 and the 0 for the negative sign, that's why it's 1.
Will
But
be
with this
-1.
example, it's going to be, because the 0 only for the 7, so here's the negative sign. I'm just going to write down the negative sign, and 0 for exponent, for the exponent 7 for the exponent 0 is going to be 1. So the result is going to be -1. Here is another one. Who gonna tell me how much the result for this one? I need you to work on it. How much the result? You don't have to take that much time. How much the exponent here?
-1.
Maybe -1. Why? Because everything here inside the parentheses with exponent 0. That means everything here with the exponent 0. There is negative sign outside. So I'm gonna write down the negative sign and everything here with the exponent 0. So it's going to be -1. You see, these two examples are really important. one more question, then we're going to start a new section. You see, 2/3 to the -3. How are we going to solve this one? A fraction with negative exponents. I'm going to flip everything here inside the parentheses for the fraction. So it's going to be 3/2 and change the exponent from -3 to +3. Then, next step, I'm going to distribute the exponents. So it's going to be 3 cubed over 2 cubed. 3 cubed is going to be 3 times 3 times 3 is going to be 27. 2 cubed is going to be 8. I can't simplify it, so this is the final result. What about if we have 1/4 with parentheses to the power -2? You're gonna do exactly the same thing. This is a fraction. You're gonna flip the fraction. So it's going to be 4/1 to the power 2. Change the exponents from negative to positive. If you notice here, 4/1 is going to be 4. That means this is exactly the same thing for squared, because 4 divided by 1 is going to be 4. 4 squared is going to be 4 times 4, and it's going to be 16. That's it for this example. It's really important, this section, because we can keep using the polynomial until the end of the semester. And after the test, you will see we're going also working on the polynomials, but we're going factor in the polynomial, so we're going to take more details. So try from now to build your base polynomial. I'm going to give you general form about the polynomial. So general form for any polynomial just look like this. If you have a, which is any number, x to the exponent n, a x to the exponent n, plus b x to the exponent n minus 1. That means if you have 4, this one is going to be 3, and keep going until just a number by itself, plus c x n minus 2, plus, and keep going until a plus, let's say g x, just a number with the x. You see there's 1 here, that means a plus, let's say f, just a number by itself. Let's do an example about that, because when you do an example with numbers, it's going to be easier. So if you have, first of all, the polynomial is supposed to be exactly the same formula here. If you have another formula, you're just going to say this is not polynomial. Let's do an example about that. If we have, check here, 3x to the power 4 plus 5x cubed plus 2x squared minus 6x plus 5. By the way, it doesn't matter if it's a plus or minus. It's not going to affect anything. So sometimes you have plus and minus together. You see, this is the polynomial number x exponents, plus or minus number x exponents, a plus number x exponent minus number x a plus 5. Here's another example. How many terms we have here? This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. So we have 5 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 terms. So this polynomial, we have 5 terms. The degree for the polynomial, right down here. When they ask you about the degree of the polynomial, is the high exponent, or highest exponent. The highest exponent. So if they ask you for this one, you're just gonna say the degree equal the highest exponent. There's no exponents here. 1. Remember when I told you if there is no number, that means it's 1. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. That means the degree for this polynomial is 4. Leading coefficient, if they ask you about where's the leading coefficient,
Sir, it's learning coefficient. I just can't see.
okay. Can you see it now?
What is that there?
Leading coefficient. If they ask you, let me write it down well, because
No, sorry, it's because I just can barely see. And
Okay.
I can do zoom.
leading in case if they ask you about leading coefficient, it's going to be 3. Where is the leading coefficient? You see, the highest degree is here, which is the 4. The leading coefficient is going to be the number here. Leading coefficient, the number here, which is 3. So that's, we're going to do more examples about that before moving the type of the polynomial. So the degree is the highest exponent. The leading coefficient is the number with the highest exponents. That's mean 3. About the polynomial, then we're going to start let's do one more example here. If we have four x squared minus 2x to the power 5 plus 6x minus 3. You see, sometimes you will get polynomial, but if you check the exponent, is not arranged from the highest to the lowest. But it's still polynomial because we have number variable with the x minus number variable with the x plus 6x minus 3. And I can go back and arrange the polynomial. So this one is going to be exactly, this is the highest one. 1 term, 2 term, 3 terms, 4 terms. So I have 4 terms with this example. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write down the highest one, which is negative 2x to the power 5 plus 4x squared plus 6x minus 3. Now, the degree for this polynomial is the highest exponent, which is the 5. The leading coefficient is going to be the number here. Don't forget with the sign, so it's going to be -2. So keep in your mind one more thing, because sometimes they're going to ask you, is polynomial or no? Always you have to get a number with the variable and positive exponents. Number, variable, positive exponents. Number, variable, positive exponents. And here's number by itself. This is polynomial. If you see negative exponents, this is not polynomial. If you see exponents but in the bottom part, this is not polynomial, and we will see on next example.
Third, why is -2 on the second row first than 4x squared? -2x.
X to the power 5.
Why is first that one that in the second row than in the first one?
Oh, because you don't have to use this one. I just arranged the exponents from the highest to the lowest.
Oh, okay.
That's the only thing I did, okay?
Okay.
Oh, no. It's also important. So, again, if you have, we already know the general form of the polynomial. It's supposed to be a number with the variable and positive exponents. What about if you have like this? 6x squared minus 7, let's do it, plus 7, x to the -3 plus 5. The general form for the polynomial says number, variable, positive exponent. Number, variable, I have negative exponents. So with this kind of examples, you're just going to say this is not polynomial. So always when you see negative exponents, just write down not polynomial. Here is another example if it's polynomial or no. If we have 13x cubed plus 6 over x squared minus 5x. The general form of the polynomial, it says you have to get a number times a variable with positive exponents. If you check here, I have a number over x squared. I have number over x squared, so I'm just going to say this is not polynomial. These two examples are very important. Next thing we're going to do the type of the polynomial. Types of the polynomial. So let's start with the types of the polynomial. The first type of the polynomial, if it's called monomial, if you have one term. Example for that, if you have just one term, only one term, you can say this is monomial, like x squared or negative 3x. You see, this is comma, this is one term, this is another example, one term. So we're gonna call this one monomial, 5x cubed. Just one term by itself, you'll say this is monomial. If you have two terms, it's going to be binomial. If it's two terms. Example for that, if you have x squared minus 5. This is one term, this is two terms. We call this one binomial. 3x squared plus 5x. You see, one term, two term. So these are two terms. So we're going to call this one binomial.
Sir, the
first-
first one, it was one term. Which one? The x squared?
Yeah, this is one term. You see, this is comma. Now, this is another example, okay?
Okay.
This is an example, this is an example, this is an example. You will see only x squared. You will see here only negative 3x. You will see here just 5x squared. You see, this is an example, this is another example, this is another example.
And
With the second one,
go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
yeah, with the second one, you will see two terms. This is a term here, and this is another term, okay?
Okay.
Two terms. Here, the same thing. This is one term, this is the second term. You see two terms, that's why we're gonna call this one binomial. We're gonna call this one binomial. If you see three terms, you will say this is trinomial. If you have three terms, it's trinomial. Example for that, if you have 3x squared minus 5x plus 6. I'm going to give you only one example, but if you see that, how many terms do we have? This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. That's why we're going to call trinomial. If you have more than 3, we're just going to say this is polynomial. More than 3, polynomial, like 5x squared minus 3x cubed plus 6x minus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're just going to say this is polynomial. This is the types of the polynomial. So again, if you have negative exponents, this is not polynomial. If you have number divided by x, this is not polynomial. Types of the polynomial: one term, monomial; two terms, binomial; three terms, trinomial; more than 3 terms is going to be polynomial. We're just going to say polynomial. So here's some examples. If you have 3x squared minus 5, how many terms do you have here? And tell me the type.
2.
2 terms, that means it's binomial. What about if you have 2? How many terms do you have here?
One term. It
One,
will be
yes. So
will
if you
be-
have just a number by itself, that means it's one term. So you're gonna say this is monomial. Six x squared minus 3x plus 5. How many terms do you have?
3.
3,
3. That means it's
trinomial.
monomial. What else? Let's do 7 plus 7x cubed or to the power 4 plus 3x plus 4 x squared. How many terms do you have?
4,
4. That means you're gonna say this is only polynomial. Here is another example. We're gonna solve this one. Focus here. Negative 2x to the power 4 minus or plus 3x plus 5 plus 2x. How many terms do you have? How many terms? Don't care.
3,
Why you said it 3?
because 3x and 2x are like.
Terms. Perfect. That's good. So be careful. Because this one, it's exactly the same term here. They are like terms. So you have to combine these together. So this one is going to be negative 2x to the power 4. 3x plus 2x is going to be 5x. And here's a plus 5. So this is 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to say this is trinomial. That's it for the types. So polynomial addition. Polynomials addition. You're just gonna write down the first polynomial, and then you're gonna write down the second polynomial. I'm gonna give you an example so you can understand the whole thing. If we want to try to add 3x squared plus 5x minus 3. This is the first polynomial. We're gonna add 6x minus 4x squared plus 6. This polynomial, we're gonna add to this polynomial. I know these are 3 terms, but we don't have to say the type. We're just gonna say it in general. We're going to add this polynomial plus this polynomial. You're going to write down the first one. So this one is going to be equal. The first polynomial is a 3x squared plus 5x minus 3. And I'm going to say plus. This is the plus sign. I'm going to write down the second polynomial, which is, so you're going to write down the first polynomial and write down the second polynomial exactly the same. The sign for the 6 is positive. So here's the positive. 6x minus 4x squared plus 6. So write down the first polynomial and write down the second polynomial. Now, the next step, we're going to add the like terms. Just be careful when you combine the like terms. So check here. I have a 3x squared. I have x squared, so I'm going to put one line here. Keep going. I'm going to look, where is x squared? Keep going, keep going, keep going. I have this number here, negative 4x squared. That's mean this term, it's similar to this one. These are like terms. 3 minus 4, and I'm going to combine these together. Now let's check the second one, 5x. This is, I'm going to put 2 lines here. X, just x by itself. I have here x by itself. So I'm going to put 2 lines here. The third one, just number by itself, I'm going to put 3 lines here. So here is just number by itself. Now it's easier to combine because I'm going to know where is the like terms. I'm going to say this one similar to this one. So 3 minus 4 is going to be negative 1. I'm going to write down here is the negative 1 and here is the x squared. If you want to write down the 1, if you don't want to write down the 1, it's going to be right, but you have to write down the negative. So negative x squared. Now 5x similar or like 6x. We're going to combine these two terms. 5 plus 6 is going to be plus 11x. I combine these together. Now negative 3 plus 6 is going to be plus 3. So here is the result for this example. Let's do one more example about the addition between two polynomials. Then we're going to go if we have subtraction between two polynomials. Let's do another example. If we have x cubed plus 6x squared minus 5x plus 4. We're going to add 2x cubed minus or plus 10x plus or minus 7. We're going to add these two polynomials. I'm going to write down the first one exactly the same, which is this one is going to be equal x cubed plus 6x squared minus 5x plus 4 plus 2x cubed plus 10x minus 7. You see, I'm going to write down the first one plus the second polynomial. Now we're just going to combine the like terms. Where's the like terms? I have a cube here. Keep going, keep going. I have an exponent cube here. That means this one similar to this one. Squared, if you check, there is no squared. So here, let's combine these right away. Cube, 1 plus 2 is going to be 3. And here is x cubed. Check the squared. There is no squared here. So I'm just going to write down 6x squared because there is no other term with the x squared. So I can't combine this one with another term. There is no like term similar to the x squared. So I'm just going to write down exactly the same. The third one, I have x and I have x. So minus 5 plus 10 is going to be plus 5x. And the last thing I have, let's put down 2 lines here. And 3 lines, just a number by itself. And it says 4 minus 7 is going to be negative 3. This is the result for the addition for these two polynomials. The sign for the second polynomial. So polynomials How are we gonna do the polynomial subtraction? We're gonna do exactly the same thing. I'm gonna take this exactly the same example here, the first example, but I'm gonna change the sign between these two polynomials. So if we have 3x squared plus 5x minus 3 minus 6x minus 4x squared plus 6. How are we gonna do the minus between two polynomials? We're going to write down the first one, 3x squared plus 5x minus 3. Change the sign for the second one. 6x is positive, so I'm going to say minus 6x. Negative 4x is negative. I'm going to change it to positive. 4x squared plus 6 is going to be minus 6. So here's the important steps. With addition, you're going to write down the first polynomial, and then you're going to write down the second polynomial, then you're going to combine the like terms.
Sir, why do we change the sign?
Because it's minus.
Oh.
So when you have minus between two polynomials, you're going to change the sign for the second polynomial. It's look like distributing. Like the sign for the 6 is positive. So you're going to distribute, there's an invisible one here. Remember I told you when there is no number here, it's invisible one. So distribute -1 times 6 is going to be -6. -1 times -4, negative times negative is going to be positive. 1 times 4 is going to be 4. -1 times +6 is going to be -6. You see, it's exactly the same process. But instead of doing these, I'm just going to take the second polynomial and change all the sign. Why I'm going to do that? Because only if you have minus between two polynomials. You see, -6, +4, -6. So it's easier than you distribute. I'm just going to change the sign for each term here. Then the next step, you're going to combine the like terms. This one, similar to this one. So it's going to be 3 plus 4 is going to be 7x squared. X with the x. 5 minus 6 is going to be -1x. That's mean -x. And the number by itself, -3 plus, so -3 minus 6 is going to be -9. This is the final solution. If you have (4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 4. This is minus 7x cubed plus 10x squared minus 4x plus 6. So you see, I see a minus between two polynomials. So instead of distributing the negative sign or -1 on all these terms here with the second polynomial, I'm just going to write down the first one. Minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 4. Change the sign here. This is positive. I'm going to write down negative. This is positive. I'm going to write down negative. This is negative, I'm gonna write down positive. This is positive, I'm gonna write down negative. Now, next step, I'm just going to combine the like terms. Cube, keep going, I have a cube here. This is like terms. Squared, I'm gonna put 2 lines. I have squared here, 2 lines. X, I'm gonna put a 3. Here's the X, I'm gonna put a 3. Just a number by itself, I'm gonna put 4 lines here. Just a number by itself, I'm gonna put 4 here. So now I know where's the like terms. This one with this one. So I'm gonna say 4 minus 7 is going to be negative 3. So negative 3 x cubed. This one with this one. So negative 5 minus 10 is going to be negative 15 x squared. 3x plus 4x is going to be plus 7x. Negative 4 minus 6 is going to be minus 10. This is the solution for this polynomial. For which is polynomial multiplication. Let's start with the small one. If I want to multiply binomial times binomial, oh, let's multiply the first. We have like 3 types how to find the solution. We already know if we have like this example, 3x parentheses, let's do the 3x squared, parentheses, x cubed or 2x cubed minus 5x. You see, I want to multiply monomial because this is one term times binomial. 2 terms. You see the one inside the parentheses? It's 2 terms, so it's binomial. When you multiply, just look like you're distributing. You're going to distribute here, multiply this one with this one first, then you're going to multiply this term with the second one. When you multiply the first one, this one times this one, we're going to multiply the numbers, add the exponents. Again, this is really important. Always, you're going to multiply the numbers, add the exponents. 3 times 2, 6. Here is the x, add the exponents. 2 plus 3, 5. I'm multiplying the first one with the first one. Multiply the numbers, add the exponents. Here's the minus. 3 times 5 is going to be 15. Why? Because we're multiplying the numbers. 3 times negative 5, negative 15. Add the exponents. I already know there's no exponents here that's been 1. So 2 plus 1 is going to be 3. We're done. 3 times 2 is going to be 6. Add the exponents. 2 plus 3 is going to be 5. 3 times negative 5 is going to be negative 15. 2 plus 1 is going to be 3. This is the solution about multiplying monomial times binomial. Let's do another example. If you have negative 2x to the power 4 times 6x cubed plus 5, or let's say minus 5x squared. Again, we're multiplying monomial times binomial. Monomial because it's one term, binomial because it's two terms. How are we going to do that? We're going to do exactly the same thing. The first, this one times this one, and this one times this one. Multiply the numbers, add the exponents. -2 times 6 is going to be -12. Here's the x. Add the exponent. 4 plus 3 is going to be 7. -2 times -5 is going to be +10, because negative times negative positive. 2 times 5 is going to be 10. Here is the x. 4 plus 2 is going to be 6. Multiply the numbers, add the exponents. This is the second example. How are we going to do that if we have binomials times binomial? The multiplication is really important. I need you to practice on it. So now let's multiply binomial times binomial, and we will see what's the difference. We're going to do exactly the same thing. So if we have, let's do a simple example. If we have x minus 4, x plus 2, these are two binomial. Let's multiply. So how are we going to multiply these two binomials? I'm going to start from the first one. I'm going to multiply the first one times the first one, then the first one times the second one. Exactly what we did before. X times x. 1 times 1, the invisible one times the invisible one is going to be 1. Add the exponents. The exponents here is 1, the exponents here is 1. So here's the x. 1 plus 1 is going to be 2. The first one times the second one. X times 2. X times 2. You're not going to write down x2. You have to write down the number first, then the x. So x times 2, it's wrong to write down x2. No, it's going to be 2x. So it's going to be plus. I'm going to write down the number, then the variable. We're done from the first one. The second step, you're going to multiply the second one with the first one, then the second one with the second one. So -4 times x is going to be -4x. -4 times 2 is going to be -8. We didn't finish. We have to make sure all the time, you have to make sure if there's like terms. If you check with this example, there's like terms, which is 2x and -4x. So I'm going to write down the x squared. 2 minus 4 is going to be -2x, and here is -8. Now we're done from this example. How to multiply two binomials. If we have two x plus 3, let's do 2x cubed times 4x squared minus 5x. We're going to do exactly the same thing. The first one with the first one, then the first one with the second one. So 2 2x cubed times 4x squared. 2 times 4 is going to be 8. Here is the x. Multiply the numbers, add the exponents. 3 times 2 is going to be 5. 2 times -5 is going to be -10. Add the exponents. 3 plus 1 is going to be, because this is an invisible one here. So 3 plus 1 is going to be 4. We're done from the first one. Let's make a space here. Eight x to the power 5 minus 10 x to the power 4. Now we've done it from the first one. Let's multiply the second number. The second one with the first one, the second one with the second one. 3 times 4 is going to be plus 12. And there is no x here, so I'm going to write down the x squared exactly the same. 3 times -5 is going to be -15. There is no x here, so I'm going to write down the x by itself. Now, the next step, we're just going to combine the log terms, which is these two terms here in the middle. So it's going to be 8x to the power 5. No, we don't have right terms because this is 4 and this is 2. So that's it. This is the solution. They are different terms because the log terms you have to get exactly the same exponent. So that's it for this example. Examples about also multiplication, because the next example is going to be tricky example. If they gave you like this one, (2x cubed minus 4 squared). So you see, they're gonna ask you find the multiplication or find the value of parentheses 2x cubed minus 4 squared. You can say, I'm gonna multiply this one with what? That means everything here inside the parentheses is squared. So I can write down this one twice. That means 2x cubed minus 4 times 2x cubed minus 4. That means you're gonna write down these twice because it's squared. If you have cubed, is going to be 3 times, and then you're gonna do the multiplication. Multiply the first one times the first one, and the first one times the second one. Then the second one times the the first one, the second one times the second one. So this one is going to be equal. 2 times 2 is going to be 4. Here's the x, add the exponents, 3 plus 3 is going to be 6. 2 times -4 is going to be -8. There is no x here, so I'm gonna write down the x cubed. So we're done from this one. Now let's go to the second one. -4 times 2 is going to be also -8 x cubed. -4 times -4 is going to be plus 16. Now this one is going to be equal. We have like terms here in the middle, so we have to combine these two like terms. So it's going to be 4x to the power 6. -8 minus 8 is going to be -16 x cubed plus 16. That's the solution for this example. if we need to multiply trinomial times a trinomial, let's do this example. Three x squared minus 2x plus 6 times 3x minus 2 let's do binomial times trinomial. Times 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 6x. The first thing, there's no exponent here, that's been 1. There's no exponent here, that's been 1. So I'm going to start with the first one. The first one times the first one. Multiply the numbers, then add the exponents. 3 times 4 is going to be 12. 2 plus 3 is going to be 5. The first one times the second one. 3 times negative 5 is going to be negative 15. And here is the x. 2 plus 2 is going to be 4. 3 times 6, the third one, is going to be plus 18. X squared, 2 plus 1 is going to be 3. We're done from multiplying the first one times the whole trinomial here. Let's start with the second one. This one times this one. Negative 2 times 4 is going to be negative 8. Here's the x, add the exponents. 1 plus 3 is going to be 4. Negative, the second one times the second one. Negative 2 times negative 5 is going to be positive 10. X, 1 plus 2 is going to be 3. Negative 2 times the third one, negative 2 times 6 is going to be negative 12. 1 plus 1 is going to be x squared. Then the next step, I need to combine the like terms. Where's the like terms? 5, there is no 5. 4, there is no 4. Now we have 4 here. So here is the 12, x to the power 5, 4 and 4. So negative 15 minus 8 is going to be negative 23. X to the power 4, cube and the cube. I'm going to put 2 lines here, 2 lines here. 18 plus 10 is going to be plus 28 x cubed minus 12, the last term, x squared. So this is the solution for this example.